Hey everybody, this is Manadog with another Starcraft Underground Season 2 League cast. This one is from Week 6. It's between Viadia, who is a Protoss from Team Legion, against Rennac, who is a Zerg from Team Unhinged. The first game of the series is going to be on Polestar, so let's jump in. Okay, so spawning in the top right on Polestar is the pink Protoss, Viadia. And spawning in the bottom left is the yellow Zerg, Rennac. So these players, I would say, are both very macro-oriented. I think you'll probably see Forge Fast Expand from Via, and you'll probably see like a 3-hatch Spire, 5-hatch Hydra sort of deal from Rennac. They're just very like standard macro sort of players. Via loves a long game more than anything else in StarCraft. You will definitely see Via take a game that could have been won at the 10-minute mark and play for another like 45 minutes just because. Hopefully we won't get that here, but it is something that happens and they definitely know about it. So we do have the first pylon out here, probably going to be a Forge right here, could also be a Gateway, although it makes me think Forge because this is a pylon scout. Meanwhile, Rennac's scouting in the correct direction. He's probably going to make an overpull here. We'll see in a second when we get to 200. So he's already got the Overlord going. Yep, here's the spawning pool coming up. So Via, by the way, is single scouting. When you put down the Forge, or when you're going with a Forge Fast Expand, it's not uncommon to double scout in case it's a hatchery first, so you can cannon rush it. Okay, I was a little concerned that this wasn't going to quite reach, but it does. And Rennac going to take the natural, but Via will run into the drone at the same spot. Be able to contest this, be very annoying, but instead we are not. And Rennac just accepted his fate at the same time, so he's just taking the third location. Could have taken the natural here, which would have been better, but he just didn't even bother with it. He's fought this fight here too many times, and he knows that the probe beats all. But this does mean that Via can safely place their Nexus before a cannon, and you see that. We'll probably see a cannon next. Yeah. I wonder about this sim. This feels like you can only really fit like one row of cannons here. Maybe the gate will be more forward to allow for some more room, but I could definitely see some danger in being Hydra busted with this SimCity. Yeah, so this will allow a little more room. I don't know if it allows 2 more rows potentially. I also don't think it's really going to come up because I don't think Rennac is going to do that, but you never know. He's taking his gas. This hatchery here is a little bit late, but it's not a massive deal. And it doesn't matter too much because like we don't even have a gateway yet from Protoss, so there's not any sort of zealot pressure coming where having like most of your having extra drones over the third instead of the natural is really gonna matter. But we just got our gas up as Zerg. Going up to our lair, most likely. First 100 gas is probably going to be for the lair instead of speed. Speed is what you would get if this were a gateway expand. Via also taking his gas. Okay, yep. Right on time, there's the lair. First zealot coming. We need to get in the gas here for Via. Okay, he realizes just making workers, hanging out. Speed on the way for Zerg also. He's got his links posted up, making sure nothing tricky's happening. I think ideally you would want to get this Overlord like over around here, so you could see that this gas was being made. This Overlord is not going to be able to. It's going to take some cannon shots in the process. But by seeing this gas being made, you would know that this is going to be a Stargate build. Oh, I spoke too soon. That's what I get for talking. So this is not a Stargate build. We have a Citadel instead. don't know if you need the gas this early then, to be honest. I'm not a Protoss player, but I would think this gas timing typically indicates that the Stargate is coming, and then legs, and they're going for like the standard 1-1 timing. But instead we're doing more gateways faster inside, so we're looking at like a speed, a Serless style from Via. Getting some good scouting information. Here's the Spire, like I said, yeah. So not shocking that Rennac would go for the 3-hatch Spire opening. And he has not taken another gas. It's something to watch. I know if you're going to switch into like heavier mutas, you need to take a second gas. We're deciding on what our sim is. A little indecisive. Only one cannon from Protoss. Mild supply block. Legs is about done. +1 timing seems fine. Okay, we're going for a fast storm, I guess. So this is like, I think you would need more gateways if you were going, like more gateways faster if you were gonna go for like a Serless timing. You know, you like get the +1 going, get the quick legs. I think we made our legs faster than we needed to. Maybe we're gonna do just like fast storm or some DT shenanigans or something. And Rennac has opted to, okay, so he's taken the gas here. So it looks like he is gonna lean heavier into mutas because there's still no den. There's no Evo. So it seems like he wants to play a heavier muta style. This was probably in response to scouting what Via is doing here, the lack of Corsair. Yep. Okay, these Zealots have legs, they don't have +1 yet. The muta's gonna see it. Okay, we swerve over to make sure he sees it. There's a sunk here and a good amount of wings. This is maybe a little bit of an anti-timing. Like you really, yeah, a little bit of an anti-timing. You really want the +1 for this fight. This is gonna be kind of a disaster for Protoss, I think. Yeah, so we gave away 2 Zealots. We might end up giving all these away if these mutas chase. We got a DT, but we've turned our first High Templar into an Archon. For the mutas, we do have the cannons defending our mineral line. This is maybe too many cannons, I don't know. There's also no room for the Archon to really move around. But yeah, so you can't fit behind here. Oh, you can. Okay, good. So technically, like the mutas can outrange this Archon, I think, like just slightly, but it's like they have 1 greater range than the Archons, and any Archon attack that lands on like a ball of mutas is like absolutely devastating. So it's like a lot of pressure to just micro very perfectly. Okay, so we did end up getting the den, probably an Evo around here somewhere. Okay, I'm sure there will be. So you probably want to get the +1 for Hydras in the not too distant future. We need to protect these High Templar desperately. Okay. We lose 1. We are at least shooting the mutas. And we're making another Archon. Not ideal, but yeah. And these are pretty soft mutas at this point. But they kind of have free reign here. They really try to fight anything. I don't think they're going to be able to get much done. Via is researching Maelstrom, so the storms are really going to hit. I don't think you really need Maelstrom against the small number of mutas. I think it's like for a Zerg that goes heavier into mutas, you get Maelstrom, and then you get like the 1 fat storm where you just like delete the entire cloud. Some nicer things going on though. Rennac is at a pretty healthy drone count. Via catching up on workers as well. More gateways coming down, so this is what, like a total of 7 gateways. Goon range is started. Obviously is +1. He's getting the +1 armor. So he's transitioning into like the fat mid-game Protoss army. mean, this is like not that scary at this moment for Zerg, but there's definitely potential once these gates kick in for it to get very scary very quickly. Yeah, we definitely need to throw down pylons. Nice free overlord here for Via to get. Rennac has added a bunch of hatcheries. So he's 1, 2, 3. Okay. He's about to be up to 6. Protoss attack incoming. You definitely need to control those mutas. Losing all these overlords could be kind of tragic. Nice storm there. Another one here? Another one here? Or are we running away? So I mean, if he chases, he'll get this Templar. Okay. So Via sees it too, and at least puts the storm out. Protoss being pushed back. So that went pretty well for Zerg all in all. I think there's kind of a choice here for Rennac after that fight, where he can decide if he wants to like go for it, or if he just wants to take a fourth. And it looks like he's going to try and do both, which is not wholly unreasonable. You can probably still like fight on the map. Yeah. We are taking. He's looking to take a farther away fourth. It seems like. I think he could just take this. Keep it close. This is like kind of hidden, but kind of not. But actually, like I think less defensible than this one. So it's a little odd. And he's actually taking a fifth at the same time. I don't know if we're expecting to get away with both of those as Zerg, or if we're just hoping that maybe like Protoss finds one and doesn't find the other, and then we get our fourth. But if you look at the supply's gotten better for Protoss, certainly. They're up a bit now. I still think this is like a pretty good overall situation for Zerg. Yeah, we got our lurkers coming. Upgrades are like a little slow, but they're not terrible. And we're on even worker count, which is nice for Zerg. Via is getting a third though. Like as Zerg, I think you want to contest the Protoss third when you can. Protoss moving across the map. He's gonna see what he can get done. Just posturing. I think this is our first observer for Protoss, so we will, as long as that stays alive, we will actually be able to fight lurkers a bit. And if we knew this was here, we could go kill it. Yeah, we need to keep that alive. I don't think you can be so forward with this observer. Zerg needs to get in there and like not fight this piecemeal. I think you can't move forward beyond these lurkers. Like the lurkers need to be involved in the fight. Really fat storm right here, excellent storm. And yep, we need to get these lurkers. Okay, so I think that was not a great fight from Rennac. But the rally is coming. Could drop a storm in here, that would be pretty impactful. Do it. He doesn't have enough energy. Okay. Both players just need to spend, keep rallying. We need to populate this. It looks like Zerg did find it, but just damage to pylon essentially. Both of these bases did get up, so if Rennac can just like saturate these with workers, he'll be in like an incredible position. He's got a DT here, which, you know, if he'd listened to me, this DT would have found the fourth and maybe caused trouble for it. Via would definitely be crashing down on it. So maybe Rennac knows something here that I don't. But instead he's gonna, we need an overlord. We're gonna lose drones. Yeah. We need an overlord here. If we had an overlord, then this base would be perfectly fine. And this one remains unfound. So instead, assuming there's an observer, there is, I think Zerg is going to lose this fourth. This is like just a Hydra army. We definitely need to be making more lurkers. This is okay. That's just where our rally is. Yeah, so we just need to get the observer over there. Unfortunately, in these situations, as Zerg, it's like tough to be getting to a place that's already being attacked with lurkers. Okay, so you definitely don't want to storm these. It's definitely right to move in and just fight them with the goons. Storming a lurker, like a single lurker, is almost always the wrong choice. You definitely want to save those storms, they're way too valuable. And fight them with goons when you can. So we got this fourth, but this one still up, still well saturated. Yeah, we're losing all this. Really fat storms for Via. Via is getting excellent storms in this game. And Protoss upgrades are still at 1-1. Zerg is at 1-1, and 2-2 will be in the near future, so if Zerg can survive, they'll have an upgrade advantage, which would be huge. Don't see that too often. The worker count for Zerg, again, looks excellent compared to the 46 from Via. I think 46 was fine when you were on 2 bases, but once you're able to actually take this third, you need more. I could be wrong about that, not a Protoss or a Zerg player, but yeah, I think you definitely, okay. So Via is making probes, which is good. But also, any time could have taken this fourth, I think. I think based on how these fights have gone, Rennac has not really been able to contest, and it looks like Via has found the more saturated fourth. There's not really any lurkers here, there's just 2 sunks, which is pretty insufficient at this point in the game. A couple free drones. More fat storms. There's nothing up here, just an egg to fight. Rennac's army this game has been very, like, disjointed and piecemeal. And I don't think you can be fighting the Protoss ball. I think Via has done a pretty good job keeping his army together. And that's why he's been crushing these fights when I think he's been losing this game in a lot of other metrics. But like, continually these are incredible storms. And just like, this is a unified army that Zerg is just not doing. Like, if you're going to be splitting up your army as Zerg, you need to be doing things with it. Like, maybe you're counterattacking in this third, maybe you're, I don't know, pressuring somewhere else, maybe you're dropping. But it's not just like having it in pieces and then like fighting the Protoss army in pieces. Like, that's never going to be a good strategy. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I think maybe we wanted to transfer workers somewhere and then misclicked. I'm not sure. So we've switched to distance mining. We haven't made the nexus there, which is a bit odd. I guess if this is mined out, the distance mining is better than nothing. Yeah. So Zerg only has like a good 40 army supply at this point, whereas Protoss has, you know, closer to 80. Protoss is usually up in supply for that sort of thing, but this is just like 2 small little chunks, like just little chunks of Zerg fighting against like a giant Protoss army. That's never going to go well. Via really needs to throw down a nexus here. Instead, he's made one here, which it's good that he's getting one. I mean, I think this would be a lot more defensible, and then this is maybe like more of a ninja base, if anything, because this is pretty defensible. Your stuff's right there. And we're on 8 gates total. We're adding 9 and 10. We did add +2 at some point. It's getting near done. I think you want extra forges at this point, though. Like Zerg's upgrades, yeah, they're at 2-2 for Hydras. Then +1 melee is also started. Zerg has also gotten into Hive. You can see they have crackling going. He's making an additional Evo. You do that faster. Oh, Reaver here, we missed that. Storm here would be big. Yeah. I mean, Muta's just straight up fighting at this point. It's not really going to do anything. We're going to have more storms. Okay, that one doesn't have any. But we do get this base. I think this is kind of turning for Zerg. He's dropped down to closer to 40 workers, which is not going to be enough. Yeah, Rennac goes and taps out. So that's going to be a first game that's a 1-0 for Via. I think there were like some very real windows there for Rennac. Like, I think that he had a lot of the build down and like the way that you would write out the build. You know what I mean? And you're following all the steps and you're doing the things you need to do. I think he did that sort of stuff very well. He was like up on workers. His like upgrades were caught up eventually. Like his tech was, it was generally good. But yeah, I think just like Via had the army movement and just continually hit like huge storm after huge storm. So anyway, game 2 is going to be on attitude. So this is all set up. He is up 1. Yep. All right. So spawning in the bottom right, we have the pink Protoss again. This is Viadia, and spawning in the top left as the yellow Zerg. This is again Rennac. Currently Via leads 1-0. So both of these players just went very standard last time, and I would be pretty surprised if we didn't see the same thing again. Yeah, I think like a very standard build is just how both of these two are very comfortable. Like I don't think even easier stuff like a 973. I know Zergs say 973 isn't easy, but in terms of just like knowing the build, it's easy. But I think Rennac doesn't like to play that really, or isn't super comfortable on it. I think this is our pylon here again for Forge. I think we're just going to see a lot of the same. So Rennac again scouting the correct direction. I kind of think Rennac just needs more games. Like, you can tell he very much like knows what he's supposed to do in like a broad sense in a lot of these like moments. And then there's just kind of like some of the details of like fighting in a unified way that's kind of losing in the games, like microing your hydras to dodge storms, things like that. But he's just going for another overpull. Via again going for a Forge fast expand. Yep, as expected. These pylons always look like they're misplaced to me. Like I don't think this is. I think this is like perfect. But it always looks like, oh man, like the Nexus is not going to be able to be placed now. And again, Via scouts before the hatchery comes down, but then kind of walks past it. So Rennac is going to learn from last time, and he's just going to take his natural. Again, though, I don't think this is going to matter. Like I would be very surprised if either of these players are aggressive enough that it actually matters. So Via may be a little confused on what the opening was here, making the faster cannon, but I don't think Zerg has even scouted yet. Yeah, I think we would have been fine to throw down the Nexus first. But either way, Nexus next, that's fine. Chasing the probe. And Rennac gonna probably get his third hatchery soon. I don't see a drone going out for it yet. He needs to be making drones, or he needs to be taking a gas. Okay, here it is. So I think it's a little slow, this third, but it's not like disastrously so. And yep, replacing again. I think this gas timing is a little bit late for like a 3-hatch Spire. So I think if Protoss were doing like a tight +1/+1, we would find in this game that the Corsairs would get there before the Scourge are ready. Probably lose like 2, maybe even 3 Overlords. It would be pretty rough for Zerg. The interactions between those kind of standard builds are like super tight. Like 3-hatch Spire, 5-hatch Hydra is like, it's like the standard Zerg build, but it's definitely not like an easy build at all. Very easy to get thrown off and then have like, not be ready for like one step of the sort of like ladder of steps, and then just kind of lose from it. Rennac is going to get the good scout this time, be able to see the gas there. But if this is anything like last time, Via will be interested in going Sairless. Via also getting the full scout. Our lair is quite late. We definitely just like forgot to press the button here. Yeah. So kind of, oh, and we do have a Stargate from Via, so there's some potential for some disaster here. Are we doing a? If it was 973, there'd be a Hydra down already. Haven't made speed. This isn't some sort of speed lane, okay. But we took the gas pretty early. I think he just thinks he pressed lair and hasn't. That's my read of this, because like you can definitely do builds where you get like a faster 4th and even 5th hatchery relative to your gas, but it's like it's a different build, and you just don't take the gas. Yeah, so there's the lair. This is a very late lair. Like the Corsair is already on the way. Just started lair, so anything from Aspire is like a couple minutes off probably. Right, like I think it's like the timer on it is like it's 3 minutes from like the time you click lair until the time that like mutas, for instance. I know in like TVZ that's like the timer is like you see the lair and then you push that time forward 3 minutes. That's when mutas will be at your base typically. And in this game right here, this Corsair, yeah, we already have a Corsair shooting an Overlord, and the lair is not yet finished. So big danger here for Rennac. We'll see how much Via is able to get done with this and how much they're interested in committing to the Corsair, because they're not making a second one. So Rennac is now supply blocked. We've got some Zealots that have wandered into our third here. 1 drone, 2 drone. 2 drone. Could have been worse, could have been worse. So speed is, I don't know how long speed takes to upgrade, but I think this is like a fairly good timing, like our speed starts like right now. So yeah, we are going though for the more standard +1/+1. I think Rennac realized where he was, and he got a Hydra Den. Maybe the plan all along was just to go into Hydras, I'm not sure. That's Overlord speed. I don't know, if the plan was to go Hydras from the start, I think you probably make the Den faster. Or yeah, make the Hydra Den faster so you get the Hydra upgrades faster. I don't know. I'm kind of confused. I'm gonna stick by my old theory that we kind of just thought that we pressed lair and we didn't. Very fast tech. Yeah, there's Storm. I think this is a pretty solid Storm timing. Via loses the Corsair over here. I think there was definitely room for Via to get more with that. I think he got a lot of good information, but like, there's an Overlord here that was missed. You know. When we had our Zealots here, there was definitely a window to like bring in the Corsair and start shooting an Overlord if that was there at the time. Our +1 ground is done. Like again, we stopped making the Corsairs. We made a Stargate for 1 Corsair, which is not ideal. And we definitely have some, this is some SimCity. Of all the SimCities of all time, this is definitely one of them. And we have a, okay, we're making our obs. This is like a pretty fast obs, although we're not going to need it quite so fast because Zerg has not made Lurker yet. He's pumping Hydras right now, so I think the plan from Zerg here is to Hydra Bust. This is just like a later Hydra Bust. Storm is moments from being done, so we will have to see if the trend of like insane storms from game 1 continues, because there are very few cannons. In fact, I think Rennac, yeah, needs to dive in and start shooting these. Okay, there's the first storm. It's good. We definitely need more Templar on the way. Second storm, also pretty good. Yeah. I don't know, I kind of think the difference... This could still definitely go Zerg's way. Like one more good storm from Via, and I think it's gonna get rough. Lurker has started, so this is not an all-in, and the drone count is really good, like relatively, you know. Okay, that was an okay storm. More Hydras rallying. Macroing. Via did not overcommit to cannons here, which so far has been a good choice. Okay, that storm not quite as good. Good job dodging there for Rennac. This is not that much here. We're kind of running low on storms. There are none right now. So this is pretty scary for Protoss right here. Okay, we have the storm online. I'm sure we'll see it in a moment. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. If you look at the supplies, like, Zerg is right there. So I think this is a very scary moment for Protoss. We're up to 6 gate goon production. We're getting range. I think you still, like, against just Hydras, like especially not huge numbers of them, I think you're pretty happy with Zealots. We don't have a Forge anymore, so there's no more cannons coming until we make another one. And I think that Rennac has realized that he doesn't want to continue this, and he's got his Queen's Nest, he's pumping drones. Drone count going to be looking real nice. Second Evo coming up. Hydras are +1. Pretty good position for Zerg. He's actually up on workers. Protoss looking to move out though. These lurkers are not done yet, so there's an opportunity here to catch something. Again, the Protoss army is like a little bit scattered. Need to bury these, yep. And we stormed our observer, so we don't have that anymore. So I think that fight went pretty poorly for Zerg. It was like kind of just an insufficient number of units like hanging out, and it looked like the plan was to like turn that into a lurker contain, but I think we kind of just didn't have enough stuff. And then we also transitioned to droning instead. I don't think you can do both of those things. Like I think if you're the Zerg in this situation, you have to say, I'm lurker containing, or I'm droning. You can't, your production needs to be behind it because you're just not going to be able to keep Protoss at bay if they try to come in. But we do have a very healthy worker count at this point. We've managed to take our fourth. It's a mineral only, which is, you know, not ideal, but it's fine. We're on 3 gas as Zerg. We're getting our upgrades going. Hive, near done. Although we are losing a couple of drones to this Dark Templar, but I mean, crucially it was spotted, only gets 3. I think that's pretty good for Zerg. And Via is also floating a pretty good amount of money here. And we definitely need to move these units away. There's like no chance we can fight this Protoss ball. Protoss crucially does not have a 3rd yet. And yeah, there he goes to take it. You don't want this one. Gas 3rd is trash in this matchup for Protoss. Or non-gas 3rd, sorry, mineral only 3rd. I meant the opposite, the exact opposite of what I said, and you as the listener should know that. You should intuit that. Okay, Defiler Mount coming up. This is like a pretty fast Defiler Mount, I think. Usually Zerg wants to stay on Lair Tech in this matchup a bit longer. Yeah, so this army is scary. Like, storm here, storm here. Yeah, I think there's an opportunity here for Via to just rally. Just like set all the rallies. Kill. It doesn't look like he's macroing a ton though, so that's good for Zerg. We're gonna lose these. I think when your army is dead like this, as Zerg, you have to recognize that streaming in a couple of Hydralisks is not going to do anything. And you have to worry about, well, what can I defend? Because I can't defend this. This is dead. You know, like I can try to maybe defend this ramp and like rally my units here to build up. But particularly like if your army is just Hydralisks and you're trying to fight against the splash of Storm, well, we're getting some free Templar here, but you can't win fights that way. We get a couple, so that was pretty good value for those Hydras. But if you look at our supply, I mean, Rennac has 15 army, like 15 supply of army. A little more now, to 20, but it's still not a lot. Despite having what is a very healthy drone count, you know, not terribly distributed either. We definitely need to take some hatcheries. I think against this ball, we need to be getting Plague online soon since we went to Hive. Like, I think there's definitely opportunity to be like Lair Battle Zerg here. But since we took the Hive, we need to get Plague online ASAP. This is going to be a tough fight for Zerg. I don't think there's enough good work from the lurkers, but again, it's just, yeah, I think it's just not enough. These zealots are going to get in the mineral line. Probably should storm these. Yeah, so Rennac goes ahead and calls it. That will be a 2-0 for Viadia in this one. So congrats to Via, and thanks everyone for watching. Bye.